That sounded pretty good, didn't it? Sounded pretty good, didn't it? I wrote that. Never know what it comes out as, so I hear someone say that, and I was going, wow, did I write that? That's pretty good. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I know now why everyone sat at my table.
Yes.
Saved you all money. See, Pete was the unofficial leader over this, and he'll sit over here with this guy right here. I thought they wanted to be friends with me. What I realized is saved them all cash by sitting at my table. So thank you very much, Tina, for allowing me to be out here. And I do say allowing me to be out here and get to be a part of this. I love your group. I love the energy. I love what you do. And you make it somewhat of a challenge for me to come out and speak to a group like you, because you are a group of doers on the planet. I know some of you out there. I don't know all of you. Collectively, I hear the things that are going on, and I made it a point to do a little research on Rotarian groups, and yours in particular, and you're doing great stuff out there. So first I asked myself, so what do I have to offer them? And what I immediately do is I step back and go, human beings, I have plenty to offer them, because we're all human. So as I come on out here, my big piece is I want to challenge you all to elevate your game. Now, there may be some of you sitting there, looking just like you are there, Bill, going, yeah, I've already elevated my game. I've already done things, right? And you all have, because there's nothing taking away from any one of you. And I'm going to challenge you to see where it is you're not playing your game big. Every one of us somewhere is holding something back. Those who hear not the music think the dancer is mad. Those who don't understand the passion behind what someone does on the planet is the typical one that sits back and judges and demeans and puts downs and goes, they must be a nut. Or there's something else driving, there must be something else wrong with them. And sometimes that's the reason why we don't go full on in life. How many in this room, if you're real honest with yourself, real honest, and maybe you're not ready for intimacy just yet, and I'll get you in 15 minutes, how many of you are living your life full on, that there is not one area in your life where you are not holding something back? You're still back. Okay, got it. At least you're thinking about it rather than the jerk hand up there. The question was, how many of you are absolutely full on living your life completely in every aspect and area of your life with no reservation? All right. So I get.
I'm going to say me.
Okay.
We know better.
I was actually just going to say that we aspire then to be more like this man over here. What's your first name? Come on now.
I actually think people are afraid to do that.
You bet they are. You bet they are. What people are afraid to do is stand up like what you just did right there and say, you know what? I am living my life full on. In every aspect, I don't hold a thing back. Because even when I do feel afraid, I go for it anyway.
That's why he sells insurance.
The Chicago badge, right? Okay, and most of us are absolutely afraid to stand in this place and talk about how great we are doing what we're doing on the planet, right? Most of us are afraid to do that. And why is that? Why are we afraid to stand up and say, I am living my life full on. I am really great at what I do. Why do we hesitate to do that? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the rest of the world is going, how dare you? How dare you say you got your life worked out? How dare you say the rest of us don't? Isn't that how it gets interpreted sometimes? Yeah. So we're afraid to stand up and really, and not only say that we're living full on, but we're also afraid to live full on because of how others are going to see that. Now let me ask you honestly, when someone doesn't stand up on a chair and stands up and says, let me tell you how great I am. Let me tell you how good I do things on the planet. What's your immediate thought? Say that again?
Arrogance.
Arrogance. Yeah, right. Hope that leg falls out from that chair, right? Isn't that what we do? On some level, when we see someone rising above, there's a part of us, a small part of us that wants to see him get knocked down a bit. Because if one person is rising above, what does that shine a light on us? How we are not. How we are not. So now you being a collective group of doers and of people that make things happen on the planet, my invitation for a moment is to set your name badge aside, not literally, but set it aside, set aside your status, set aside all the accomplishments, set aside everything that you have done out there, and be open to the possibility that there may be an area in your life where you're playing it small. That's what I'm inviting you to do, right? I'm asking you to set your ego aside for a moment. And I don't care if you're us group right here or a group that I saw earlier today over at Oak Grove. We've got a bunch of young people there. I invite them for that 1 hour to just consider the possibility that we may share something that may resonate with them and be the difference for them to be able to do something different on the planet. So even though we're all a little bit older, a little wiser, right? Pete the leader, the real wise one, we still have things that we can benefit from by daring for a moment to consider we've got things to learn and do out there. So we do get afraid. We do get afraid. I'm the first one to say I spent a good part of my young life way afraid. Way afraid. And when I came up against fear, I didn't go through it. I let fear allow me to sit back down. In fact, standing up here speaking is actually pretty cool, because I remember the first time I actually got up and spoke, and it wasn't in high school. I waited until I got in the military. And anyone that's been in the military, you know there's this thing called General Military Training, GMT. And it's just General Military Training. And I was asked to give a training one time for 500 sailors. I didn't realize what 500 looked like till I got on stage. My mind went black. I don't remember what I said. I perspired, nearly passed out, and thought that was the last time I'm ever going to do anything like that again. The fact that I got up there was a big deal. But the fact is, it scared the hell out of me, but I did do it anyway. Now, back then I think I remember that I didn't have much choice, but actually I really did have choice. So what happens is we allow fear to keep us from moving forward in some areas. Now, every one of you have gone beyond fears, what I call fearlessness, felt the fear, did it anyway, in many areas of your life. And yet there are some areas that you're still holding back. Now, maybe the area of community service, maybe you're going full on with that one. And yet what I also know, and most of you know this too, you're familiar with the 80-20 rule? 20% of the people are getting 80% of the stuff done out there. That's just how it works. It's a phenomenon. Someone won the Nobel Peace Prize, or the Nobel Prize, one of the prizes for that phenomenon, and it works everywhere. The sad truth is that most of what you do is done by a very small percentage of your members. Now, there are some members that still show up with their badge. There are some that put their name on committees, but they don't really do the work. Now, of course, I'm not talking to anybody in this room, right? Right? Because some of you are going, how dare that some bitch tell me stuff like that, right? And the reality is some of you fit in that category. And you need to consider that. By the way, Amanda, congratulations. I loved hearing the challenge. I hadn't heard that before. I loved hearing the challenge. Are you willing to step up and really be a Rotarian? Right? What kind are you willing to be? The 80 or the 20? That's a cool challenge. I love that. Most of us need that challenge. There's not too many circles outside of this right here where we really get that opportunity to be challenged. So we allow fear. And part of my story is, and by the way, has anyone ever had a good excuse in life for why we didn't move forward? Anyone in the room ever had a good excuse? Now, I've had plenty of them. I've had plenty of them. In fact, when I was a younger man, well, yeah, somewhat younger man, the first story I would use is just where I came from. Where I came from, my dad was a mechanic, my mom a waitress, and we lived in snow country, so even during the winter, we didn't have much money coming in. So we grew up in this, and I grew up with the state of not having enough, not being enough, no matter what I do will make a difference, that sort of thing. And I carried that well on into adulthood, which is why I went into the military. That was my way to get somewhere. So what I began to start learning very early on is that I had something more to me, but there was still fear keeping me back. As I would move forward and try different things, I found it felt real good. It doesn't feel good to feel fear, go through that, and actually experience some success. Does that feel good? Yeah, absolutely. So I did do that in life, and then what happened was life delivered one of those real big excuses. I was married to a wonderful woman. Her name was Paula. She was the mom of our son, Chase, and she got sick and she left the planet. All right? Not here to make you sad, but what I'm here to illustrate is how we can use things, events like that in life, a couple different ways. We get to choose how we use that event. Back then, I chose to use that as my reason why I wouldn't make it very far in life. Being a single dad, trying to raise a son the best I could, it meant there was a lot of things I was going to have to give up and sacrifice and not be able to move forward, and I used that one. And the moment someone would say, well, Rob, how come you haven't gotten farther along? I'd go, let me show you my badge. And they'd go, oh, get it. Ooh, bummer, right? I see why. And I used that one, not consciously, but it gave me a great excuse for not moving on forward, for not being big, for not taking risks, for not taking chances, for not growing my business or having relationships or whatever it was that I was staying in my safe little box in. That was a great excuse. It was a good one. And I did one of these things. I grew my hair long back then because I didn't get a chance in the military. They made me cut it short, right? And I went in right out of high school. So I got out of the military, grew my hair long, wore denim again, beads, the whole bit, and said I was anti-establishment. I caused myself more pain during the next 10 years than you could imagine. Because what I did was I blamed everything outside of me, used the excuse of I played it by the rules, I did what I was supposed to do, I served my country, I did everything, and then I have this happen in my life, my badge, my woe is me. And it gave me a great excuse, and people left me alone. I got to start buying Birkenstocks and all that stuff, and be happy on the planet, right? And I was miserable, I was full of anger, I was pissed off because I was in this blame mode. And the reason I wasn't getting far in life because life dealt me this bad card. Can anyone relate to that one at all? We have tough stuff happening in life, right? And if you haven't, it will, right? If you haven't, bless you, right? I wish I'd have heard that. All right, so what happens? I use that. I use that as this big excuse. Now, I didn't realize I was using that. Didn't realize it. And then 10 years later, I had another event happen in life. And again, I'm not here to bum you out, but talk about what's real in life. My then 19-year-old son, Chase, who I was raising by myself, he was caught in a drive-by shooting in San Diego, and he left the planet. Now, I had another choice. And that was, I had another wonderful card. Wouldn't that have been a great one? Right, the 2 badges. It's okay to go with me here. We're all right. I had 2 badges I could use now. And this would have been the greatest excuse, the greatest reason for not moving forward, letting fear keep me in my place, not taking my stance and serving the planet in a good way. It would have been a great one. What I can recall that morning, besides many other things with that phone call, was a decision that I made that I would not allow his life on the planet to be about what I didn't accomplish in life. Through the pain, the sadness, the loss, the decision I made was I was going to stop feeling the fear and let it stop me. I didn't know where it was going to take me. That part I didn't know, but I knew I was done being scared. I was done being small. I was done using excuses. I remember also that day finally deciding to stop being pissed off at God. And we were good. Because I trusted there was some damn reason why he's not here any longer. I was able to do that within 24 hours. Now, my life took a little time to recover from what I call getting the wind knocked out of me. Right? That's what I call it today. I get the wind knocked out of me. Got knocked on my butt. And that was one of the greatest experiences today still that I've ever had. And the relationship I have with him on the planet is like it's never been. Because what he does every day is fuel me to not play small. Fuel me to find my place on the planet, whatever's big out there. So when I talk about beyond success, what I want to talk about today, if I haven't already emphasized this, is not downplaying anything that you've accomplished already. Not downplaying any of it. You are doers. You're action people. And by the way, when we take action, what happens? What happens when we take action? Anybody? We get a reaction. We get something happen, right? We get accomplishment. We get something moving in the planet, right? And action is going to make something happen. Not so long ago, I got one of these emails from an organization called Boys to Men Mentoring Network. As you can imagine, I'm a big, big proponent of serving our youth today and helping to prevent what happened to my son happened to other young men. So Boys to Men is a great organization, and they have this fundraising event. It's called the 100 Wave Challenge. Did anybody hear about this down in San Diego? All right, it's not so far away from us. But that 100 Wave Challenge, they got surfers from all around the world to come and pledge their time and ride 100 waves, and people got to pledge, and it was a great, great fundraiser. So they were a couple weeks out, and I got the email from them. I'm going, great, I'm going to send it to everybody I know. And the first response I got back, did this just die? That's right, I can go, right? You can hear me okay? Yeah. Beautiful. So the very first response I got back was, stop sending me this shit. Yeah. Anybody got one of those emails before? Yeah, we get them. And so it showed me once again, when I take some action, I get a response back. Right? It's exactly what I was looking for, to move the world somehow. Now, I did get some other more positive responses than that one, but the deal is every time we put ourselves out there and we take some kind of action with other people, we're taking a chance, aren't we? We're taking a chance them saying, who the hell do you think you are? What are you sending me this stuff for? What are you trying to sell me? Right? What's your deal? Remove me from your list. We risk that every day. We also risk the other, and that is, wow, great, thanks for sending that to me. Wow, great, would love to do business with you. Wow, great, how can I get more information? So those are other possibilities as well. So the point is, we have some successes in our life, and I've had many wonderful successes. Last year, my business year was phenomenal. And by the way, one of the things I attribute my business success last year was at the very beginning of the year, went to Disneyland, right? Having no idea how exactly we were going to pay for that one, right? Just went to Disneyland. And then what we did, well, I did initially, was I set a dollar amount that was stupid, insane, crazy, unreasonable. There's no reason for me to accomplish it. And then by October 15th, I hit it. Listen to that one very carefully. It was unreasonable. It was out of sight. I didn't know how the hell I was going to make it. I did not know. But I put it out there. I set my intention every single day. It became my password for every login. I have a new password this year, by the way. Right? My new password is my new ridiculous, insane, stupid, silly, out of sight, unreasonable dollar amount that I'm going to make by the end of the year. And not for the sake of making money, because it means that I'm doing something to help move the planet. Because what I'm doing, if that means I'm getting clients and helping to build their businesses or help them succeed in life, that means good things are happening and I'm putting money in my account as well. So it's all happening. It's good stuff. And then that allows me, when Boys to Men calls me up and says, Rob, we can't afford to pay you, but we know we need some support down here. My immediate response is, yes, can do. Because I had some cool successes over here. And we can do that, whatever you guys need. So the point is, whatever successes you're having in your life, acknowledge them, celebrate them, honor them. You're doing great stuff. And where are you playing it small? Where are you backing off? Where are you neglecting parts of your life? Maybe the part of your life you're neglecting, and I'm not trying to look this way when I say this, is your physical health. Maybe you're not doing anything physical, right? And by the way, a couple weeks ago, my wife and she bought me for Christmas P90X. Does anybody know what that is? Yeah. Well, it was a wonderful gift. I knew I wanted it, but then once I got it, it scared the hell out of me, right? I opened it up and I read the book and I read the nutrition and the exercises, looked at the first DVD, put it away for a while. It scared me. It really did. So what I decided was that my wife and I, we recently went to Puerto Rico. It was our vacation. I didn't want to start the nutrition program until after Puerto Rico, right? If you've not been there, it's great, great food. So I decided I'm going to start the Monday we get back. And I was all set to go. Now my wife is watching the infomercials. She's going, ladies are doing this too. So she jumped on board Monday morning, 6 a.m. And every morning since then, and we take Sundays off, we've been on board with it. So that was one of those areas that I was neglecting, other than putting a 5-mile run every once in a while in. But honestly, it wasn't getting me the kind of things. All I was getting was sore knees and sore hips and sore calves and all that stuff. It wasn't getting me where I wanted because I wasn't taking care of the whole body. So it's one of those areas where I was playing small. And by the way, do we sometimes get afraid of feeling pain by doing something? All right, and we want to avoid pain, right? I know I do. And there's some pain we want to avoid. We want to avoid being audited, so let's not cheat on our taxes, right? Right. So there's certain kinds of pains to avoid, and there's some that are unavoidable. If I'm going to get this body into shape, I'm going to have to go through some painful times. And I promise you, the first week I was hurting. And I really thought, oh my God, Thursday, and I'm not a yoga guy. And man, yeah, huh? Tough. I thought, what could be so tough about this? Right? It's tough. And so that was just one of those areas, one area that I was neglecting, I was playing small in, but I knew it was going to cause me long-term pain if I didn't start doing something now. And my excuses were not enough time. Anybody got that one? Yeah. That's why 6 a.m. And by the way, I have, for the past 3 weeks, I've been up at 4 a.m., with the exception of Sundays. I use my 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. That's where I get some work done. I respond to emails, I have some other things, and I'm very disciplined in doing that. And then 6 o'clock, I wake Linda up, actually 10 to 6, so she's ready to go at 6 o'clock. And we do our hour P90X, and then I make our breakfast, and we go on to our day. Every single day. And I would be the last one that anyone would ever suggest would actually have a set routine, because Bohemian me said, you know, planning and set routine means prison, means, you know, killing my creativity. That's all crap. Having a plan and having structured time is productive time. It works really well. So my invitation to each of you is not in any way to take away from what you're doing big out there. Not taking any part of that away. Great. And what areas are you playing small? Where are you not taking care of your finances, your health, your relationships, your family, relaxation time, right? Where aren't you taking trips like Julie is there, going to different places on the planet, right? My wife and I schedule 4 weeks every year, and that's just minimally. And then we have our trips to Vegas too. We know what you do, right? We have all our fun time out there. We make sure to put that in there. We work hard when it's time to work, but we make sure there's balance. So the invitation for all of you today is to take a look at those parts of your lives, the parts where you're not playing it big. Not playing it big. You've all heard the thing about regret somewhere along the way. It's one thing to regret what we've sought after and gone after and failed at, but there's another thing to regret never having even tried or taken care of it. That one is irreconcilable. We can't do anything about that one. So we don't want to feel that kind of regret. So as we wrap right here, here's what I want to offer you. Never doubt that a small group of committed, thoughtful citizens can change the world, from Margaret Mead, because indeed it is the only thing that ever has. You were that small group. So please take some time in your lives to take a look at the areas where you're not playing it real big. You're playing it big in the areas where you're good at, successful at, going real big at, and these ones over here you're neglecting, because that's what's going to give you real true success beyond the success you're having here. Thank you very much.